Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ridiculously Serious, a show where we draft teams from absolutely ridiculous categories and have a completely serious debate about them. My name is Mike, and I will be your host. I'm going to stick with the theme of having you learn just a little bit more about my co-hosts in the intro each week. So, Joe, what was your favorite subject in school?
As the child of two chemists, science was above and beyond my favorite thing to learn in school.
That makes
As
sense.
nerdy as that may sound, yeah.
That makes sense. And then we got Brandy. What is your favorite band, or I guess who is your favorite band?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't really have a favorite because I cycle through a lot of things in a lot of different periods. But can say I've been listening to a lot of Sean lately. So that's the only thing that came to the front of my brain.
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought you were going to say Christian contemporary rockers Switchfoot.
Yes. That's also that.
All right. So we definitely did learn a little bit more, for sure. At least Joe did. So, you know.
I did,
yeah. And now it is Joe's favorite time of the show, which is where I reveal the results of last week's episode. If you missed it, we argued about which animals were the best to take on a blind date. Lots of fun was had. And the winner of said animal draft, by a single vote, was me.
Oh,
Yeah, I got my first.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
finally.
Took 3
Finally.
weeks.
we have 3 weeks, and we've all gotten one win.
That has kind of ended up funny. That
Okay.
we've each snuck one in there. So now I've learned I have to just take the traditional route. Like if I want to get wins on the show, I just got to go with the no. I can't go too crazy. I can't go too far off the deep end.
Yeah.
A little more traditional in my picks. Which
That's a
Who was
good one.
second?
I think it was you. Yeah, it was you. Yep.
Damn.
Brandy was not far behind though. It's all it's not like we're getting 3,000 votes. It's all pretty close right now.
Yeah.
It's not separated by a ton right now.
I really thought I did it with Pigeon.
Yeah, the pigeon was I think everybody that voted for you sent a note in with it that said just for the pigeons. I think that I just got flooded with dozens of pigeon emails. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That didn't.
Oh.
So let's get going into today's episode, which is the worst movie quotes to use in a job interview. So this is another one that isn't fully explained by the title because it would be too hard to do. What I did was I found a list of the top 100 movie quotes of all time. If anybody wants to see the list that we worked off of to have their own ideas or to follow along, while listening or whatever it might be, it was AFI's 100 Years, 100 Quotes. It's like the first thing if you Google top 100 movie quotes. It's, I think, the first link on Google. We each not sponsored by Google. That would be nice if we were sponsored by Google. That'd be great. I don't think anybody needs to sponsor. I don't think Google needs to do any sponsoring at this point. I feel like
Yeah.
they've done the branding that they need to
They've
do.
got
I
it in
think.
the bag.
Yeah,
at this point.
I don't think anybody's popping up like I've heard about Google, but I really think that Ask Jeeves is the place to go.
I'm a Bing guy.
I'm a Bing guy. That actually says more about you than you think, and some of our listeners might know why. So we each had to take quotes from that top 100 quote list and engineer the worst job interview situations to use them. So we kind of make up the situation a little bit and then use the quote, and you guys will get to decide who did the best, worst job at it. So there will be 4 rounds to this draft again, and let's get to it. So first thing we have to do is determine the pick order. I have won all 3 weeks so far, so we're still going to let Joe do it so that we can be as fair as possible. Brandy, I will give you the first choice of numbers.
Of what? Wait, am I choosing my number? Are we still doing the
Yes.
random number generator?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to choose your number.
I'm going to go with the good one, 69.
Okay.
Finally.
I will take 68. No, I'm kidding. Let's go. We'll go 31. I'll take 31.
Ooh. This puts me in a terrible spot.
Yeah. Which side do you want? I didn't even do that on purpose, to be honest.
I mean, I get more going with 70 than going with 30.
Yeah, but you can go in the middle and get. Well, I guess it would no, because then we would cut it off. That makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna go with 30.
All right, rock and roll. Let's see it. Can I win 4 in a row?
Nope. 5.
5. Oh, so Joe gets first pick. I will.
Yes,
get second.
I really needed first pick for this week.
So you want first overall?
Stands out. Yes, I want first overall. Yes.
I will kind of piggyback on that and agree. So I'll take second overall to try to get the quote that I want. So Brandy, I think you had third pick last week, didn't you? I'm pretty sure you did because you came in hot with the Fireflies at the end. Oh no, you had first pick.
I had first.
Yeah,
pick.
you had first pick.
I had third pick. The letter.
Gotcha.
The letter time.
Okay, so we got Joe first, me second, Brandy third. There are going to be 4 rounds to this draft. Joe, go ahead and kick us off.
All right, so I'm at my job interview, and potential boss asks me, if there was a situation where an unruly customer was, continuously giving you flack and you couldn't, remedy the situation in any way, how would you respond to it? And, I would respond to the interviewer by saying, a census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti, and then I would go...
that is literally the worst.
The sound effect really makes that.
Yeah. Was I allowed to say the sound effect because it is technically not part of the quote?
No, that's fine. I think the sound effect is part of the situation. I don't think it really adds to the quote in that sense. I think you're clear on that.
Yeah. Now in this situation, I either am reported to the authorities, or if this guy is a fan of Silence of the Lambs or horror in general, I might instantly get the job. So it's a very polarizing response.
Yeah, I mean, that was on my list, obviously. I had it as number 3 only because I had a feeling that if I didn't go first, it was going to get picked, so I didn't want to plan my draft around it. So I figured just if you guys went in a totally different direction, then I would pick it up, But I went a little different direction than you did. Mine was, the interview asked or said the job can be fast-paced and hectic at times. How do you respond to random stressors that can appear? And then I, used the quote. So similar, line of thought where it was really like, all right, am I getting a job or am I getting arrested? What's happening here? So I do like the pick first overall. Like I said, it was on my list. Was that one on yours, Brandy? Did you have that on the catalog?
I did not.
Oh,
I did not
Okay.
because I thought it was going to be taken. So I tried to steer away from the more popular.
Sure.
So we'll see how that works out.
Makes sense. All right. So number 2, like I said in the intro, I think I'm going to try to steer a little less into the craziness at times and a little more into the mainstream and kind of appeal to people, more as far as the voting goes. So this one, I don't think it's the funniest. I don't think it's the best, but what I think it is the most relatable, because we have literally everybody on the show, everybody that's listening has been in this situation and probably had the same thought of this is the dumbest question ever. Why do you even ask me this? So that is the wonderful question. Why do you want to work for our company? And then my response to that would be, show me the money.
Yep.
So that, I think, like I said, it's not the funniest, it's not the best, but it's just the most relatable, because we've all been in that job interview where they ask us that. You're like, because you're going to pay me, you idiot. Why do you think I'm here? What kind of question?
I had a very similar one that now I have to take off my list.
Yep.
I just, I feel like that's a run-of-the-mill question that could just be taken out of every, to get paid. So I can eat, so I can afford ramen for another day, maybe put a half a tank of gas in my car when I, try to go places. That's why I'm here. It's not rocket science.
To live.
If you
generally.
don't know, if you don't know the answer to that question, maybe you shouldn't be in management. You ever think about it like that? So I wanted to hop on that one. I'm trying to be more relatable to the people, So Brandy, you have your wraparound. picks 3 and 4.
Yes. The wraparound is always the hardest for me. Because I double check my picks in between when others are picking.
Sure.
Or giving their picks. So I think I'm gonna go. What would be your ideal work environment? As interview question. To which you reply simply, we rob banks. It's the easiest way to get money.
Sure.
I like that.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Sure.
Simple.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That works. That I will say I also had that on my list. How about you, Joe?
That was not on my list, but because I thought that it was already going to be taken, I had other things that were better. It was kind of one of my like way backup ones,
Sure,
just in case you guys didn't take it. But I really thought that someone was going to take it early, and I was correct.
Sure, yeah, absolutely makes sense. Again, same thing as with Joe. I went, I guess, a slightly different direction. I did have it, but I went a slightly different direction. I had it related to the work history. You know, I had like independent contractor on my on my work history, and like, what did you do at that job? I said, we rob banks. Sorry, we rob banks.
I had a similar question.
Sure, I thought, you know, when you look over the list, you know, there's 100 quotes. At least 20 of them right off the bat wouldn't make any sense at all because they have like specific references and stuff in them.
Yeah.
So you really have a list. And then honestly, I would say, like, because I looked over the whole list, I would say another 20 or so is like, there's just no way to get humor out of it or like, you know, anything like that. So I'd say you're working with a list of probably about 50 to 60 or so that are like usable. So I thought we might have some overlap here and there, especially because it's, you know, a relatively narrow topic as far as like the job interview. They're pretty standard. They're pretty traditional. So that definitely makes sense. All right. So that is a strong start to the first round. Had some overlap, which I guess is always good because that means they're a strong answer. No fireflies this week, where, you know, people just don't know what's happening. But Brandy, you have your second pick now.
Right. So this question from the interviewer is going to be, how do you handle working with people who annoy you? Because, you know, you have to learn how to work with your coworkers. And I chose keep your friends close, but your enemies closer from The Godfather, Part 2. Specifically because I feel like that's a terrible answer to give at an interview, because obviously you would ideally resolve the thing with your coworkers.
Sure.
But in this scenario, this person is threatened and immediately taking this person and turning them into an enemy and only looking at them that way for the rest of their potentially entire career.
I like when people have the wraparound pick. I like to see like a divergence in the answer. Like I like going different directions, and I have to say, like, I know we're competing, but I do love the different directions that your answers, because like the we rob banks is like funny and silly, and like obviously nobody's gonna say that, but then the other quote is like something you could say. It's almost more like a serious bad answer, which might even be better, honestly, because like if we're going for worst answer, the Rob Banks thing, the interviewer might like kind of laugh off, and you know it's like, oh, they made a funny joke, you know, but the enemy's closer one, they're gonna be like, I don't know if she's kidding.
Are they serious?
I mean, whether or not they believe you, you're probably not going to get hired. So I feel like it does its trick for the purpose of this draft.
Absolutely.
So I like how different your answers were. I think that was a nice little touch on the wraparound pick.
Thank you.
All right. So for my second pick, I am now going to venture a little bit into the ridiculous. I'm going to try to stay a little bit focused as far as what my game plan was for this draft, but I did have one that I thought was quite funny and wanted to work it in. So the interviewer saying to me, you know, so I'm interviewing to be the head of HR, you know, so it's a higher up position. So they say, you know, if you're going to be the head of HR, we need to know how you can handle some extreme conditions. You know, this is a big office, you know, lots of moving parts. We need to know that you're ready for anything. So let's do a role play. You know, it's late. You stayed after hours to get caught up on some work. that's probably where I declined the job right there. If they said anything about staying after hours, I'm probably just like, yeah, sorry, I'm out. Like,
No overtime for me.
yeah. But so yeah, it's late. Stayed up to catch some of to work. There's only a couple people left in the whole building. You go to use the restroom, but when you open the door, you find 2 coworkers having intercourse. How do you, as the head of HR, react? And what I would say is, I'll have what she's having.
Oh no!
I had that quote on my list.
So that
Not
is
in that way. But...
So that is from When Harry Met Sally. Since
Yeah.
it sounds a little more generic, tell people what it's from. But yeah, I really, I knew there was potential in that one, but I knew I was gonna have to stretch to use it in the way that my mind works, and I just felt like when I kind of ran past ran through a few scenarios in my head, but when I came upon that one, I was like, yeah, that's the one I'm going with. Like, for sure, that's the one I'm going with. Because that just paints such a wonderful mental picture in my head of, like, the HR person. You know?
You did paint a picture of the entire scenario, not just the HR person.
Hey, listen, it's a podcast. There's no visual. People got to, that you want them to be right there with you.
Yeah, right there with you, witnessing this horrible, terrible thing.
This horrible, beautiful act.
Yeah.
of workplace camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like a real team building exercise.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, time for your first wraparound pick.
Yeah, okay. So I'm pleasantly surprised that these next 2 on my list, which were my next 2 that I wanted to do, were not picked yet. Doesn't matter the order, so I'll just go with the quote that was first on the list. So in this situation, the interviewer is asking me, about my experience and things with my different tasks that I'll be doing on this job, and they say to me, there's a lot of heavy lifting during this job. You're going to be, moving things on a regular basis. Is that something, are you going to mind doing that? Putting in a lot of physical labor for this job. And I'm going to look at them straight in the eyes. I'm going to say, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
That was on my list as well. Yeah, from
That was also on my list.
Fun fact: Gone with the Wind. This is the first time that the word "damn" was ever used in a movie, like a major movie.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and it was like a big deal.
Interesting. I guess that's why it's one of the most famous quotes.
It honestly, I would consider it probably the most famous quote ever. And
it was number 1 on the list.
After this, I wanna mention a quote that's not on here. It's absurd that it's not on here.
Sure.
But anyway, going to my third pick, my wraparound pick. This is a similar situation. Boss talking to me about the role that I could be filling. They're like, hey, I know you applied to work front of house. But unfortunately, we're hiring right now for a storage room person. So, we need someone tucked in the back doing inventory back there. And, I look at this interviewer a little bit peeved because I was brought in for an interview for a position that I didn't apply for. And I'm going to say, nobody puts baby in a corner.
Yep. Yep.
You know what? I give you credit because you used one of the quotes that I didn't really see a way to work into a situation.
Yeah,
so,
same.
Well done.
Yeah, I tried to do that because I don't want to overlap with you guys too much, and it seems to be working out. Let's see if I can get my fourth one. But back to you first.
Yeah, so that was good. We had a little bit of comedy and a little bit of movie trivia and facts with the first with the first damn in a movie.
Mm-hmm. That second one is Dirty Dancing. I didn't mention that.
Sure.
I think talking the movies.
Sure. I think most people were probably good on that one, I would think. Well, I guess it depends of the generation of our listeners, but I think even younger people probably still heard that at some point, or at least heard it referenced. All right, so my next pick, I was going to save for the last round because I don't think you guys would use this one because I really kind of made a situation for this one. But you've taken a few of the ones that I was thinking of, so I think what I'm going to do is I can't decide between my backup that I want to use, so I'm going to wait and see if you guys take any of the ones I'm like undecided between, and then just take what's left. That'll help me narrow it down. Because I get like that feeling where I'm gonna miss out. Like I'm gonna pick one of them as my backup one, but then the other one would have been way better and funnier. You know, it's too much stress.
Yeah.
Too much stress. So I will. I'll bump up my last pick. So the interviewer says to me, "Okay, Mike, we were very impressed with you during your verbal interview. The only thing left in order for you to get this job as a bus driver is your road test. Are you ready?" And I say, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night." So
Perfect scenario.
that is from All About Eve. First time I think I'm hearing of that movie, so maybe some of you as well. Yeah, I'm not a big like old movie buff. Like I do love movies. I have a lot of free time, so I love movies. But I'm not a big old movie buff. But yeah, so I wanted to have at least one quote that was like, I know I did the HR thing, which was very like silly, but I wanted to have one quote that was almost like practically silly. Like an actual practical situation. Yeah, I don't know if they do road test. Do you have to do a driving test to drive a bus? Like, how does that even work?
I would assume. I mean, sure as hell hope so.
I know you have to get a license.
CDL,
yeah,
right?
like I know you need the specific license. I'm just wondering if the actual bus company, like if just having the license is enough, or if the bus company still does a road test. You know what I mean?
I highly doubt it. We had so many buses in high school that got in accidents with children inside. I highly doubt that they test these people beforehand.
Where did you go to high school? Talladega? How do you have so many accidents? I don't think I heard about a single bus accident in my town in the 12 years I was in school. And you had like enough that it's like an anecdote in your life?
I just thought that was standard across the board.
No.
We had the same bus driver hit the same bus driver hit the same stop sign that was on the school property twice in 1 year.
I feel like after the second time, they probably should no longer have been the bus driver.
That wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case. Can they have been that short on bus drivers that somebody just kept hitting signs with kids in the bus and they were like, "Listen, we need him. What can we do?" You know,
as long as it's not a kid, we're clear for now.
Oh, that is funny. That is interesting. So I guess I'm the only one without crazy, possibly drunk bus driver stories. I mean, I'm just gonna say if it happened multiple times, I'm gonna throw possibly drunk in there. We'll never know, but I'm just saying you can't disprove it. So,
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. All right, Brandy, finish up your draft with picks 3 and 4.
Okay, so in this scenario, I'm imagining this person who I'm not going to put myself in this scenario because this would not be me, but somebody who maybe just came off of unemployment or hasn't been working for a while, and just isn't really sure about how to get back in the workforce, sure. like a person would. So they go through the interview, it's going okay, and then the interviewer asks, "Give me an example of a time that you went above and beyond the call of duty at work." At which point the interviewee's brain shuts off because they haven't worked in so long, so they just say, "Hasta la vista, baby," and walk out.
I mean,
oh, you stole my closer.
I mean,
I'm so sorry.
One way to for sure tank a job interview and not get the job is to like exit it in the middle. So like,
yeah,
that works. I mean, you can't.
I mean, if you
argue.
You're not gonna get it.
Yeah,
you might as well just, you know what? Let me stop wasting your time. Stop wasting my time. I'm just gonna go. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's hard to argue with that. You're definitely not getting that job.
No.
All right, so that's number 3. Finish us up, or finish your draft up.
Yeah. And another terrible one, imagining a lot of real bad scenarios here with these people who just have no idea how to conduct themselves in an interview at all. But just right off the bat, "Hey, so tell me about yourself." And you just come back with, "Well, nobody's perfect."
That's good.
And that's it.
That's good. That's another kind of like, I like that because it's like another like serious one. It's another like that's a thing you could say in a job interview, but then the interviewer
probably shouldn't.
Yeah, but then the interviewer is going to be like, "What's wrong with this person?" If you don't say anything else like after that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dig it. I dig the.
I forgot what that was from.
Tone.
I lost it.
Yeah, I didn't have that one on my list, so I'm not sure.
I'm Like It Hot.
Okay.
And Hasta La Vista Baby. For someone in the world who might not know, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
It's actually kind of important if you're being specific, because I think almost everybody would guess it was from the original Terminator, not Terminator 2.
That's true.
So like if you're being real specific, I think that would actually, make a difference.
I just assumed everybody was a giant Terminator movie buff and knows every moment.
They're fun. They're good movies.
There's something.
Well, they're good mindless fun. I love a good mindless fun movie. And to me, Terminator's like, you just turn your brain off, watch Arnold Schwarzenegger be a bad robot, then a good robot, then a questionable robot, and then a good robot again. Like, or a cyborg, I think.
You get to hear him go the entire time.
Listen, you can make that joke about Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I don't know if you ever saw the last Rocky movie when Sylvester Stallone gives his speech and not a single word is like audible in the entire thing. He's giving a speech to his son. He's basically like, and then you're kind of like, oh, I'm razzed up. I'm ready. I'm fired up. I'm going to fight this Russian guy.
Yeah. I'm very, very excited to see him voice King Shark in Suicide Squad.
That's I hope King Shark doesn't have any important lines that you want to be able to understand.
I think they're kind of playing him as a Groot-esque character that doesn't say much but is like comic relief. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, that sounds like his wheelhouse, just making noises.
Yeah.
All right, so let's finish this one up. The last of my picks. Again, I have so many different directions that I can go. I do want to go at the end of the draft. I do want to quickly run over any that were on a reserve list that we didn't end up using. Not the whole thing, but just kind of sharing what they were. But this is tough. So I think I'm going to take a slight page out of Brandy's book and go a little bit more serious, but like awkward. So that is going to be where the interviewer is kind of going on about me a little bit. Like, we've heard all this good stuff about you. Like, you got these great referrals. Your past work speaks for itself. Just really kind of laying it on. It's clear that they want me for the job. And I just say, wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet. And then I just don't say anything else. That's the only thing I say. So I just tell them, wait. Trust me, that's not even, that's not even the half of it. You heard nothing yet. And then that's it. And then I just sit there.
And just deadpan stare into his soul.
I just stare at them for probably I feel like that would take somebody like a solid 10 seconds. And if you think about it, like in silence, 10 seconds is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it would take them a solid 10 seconds to like start talking again and being like, what was that? Like, what just happened?
Go on.
And I just, nope, that's it. They ain't heard nothing yet. And then silence. Just awkward.
That's a good one. I like that one.
All right, good. I'm glad I went with that one. It came across, when I was saying it came across better, I think, than it sounded in my head. So I am happy that I went with that one.
I do like that one.
All right, Joe, finish us off.
Yeah, so my closer was taken, so I'm gonna go with my backup. And honestly, my backup might be stronger now that I'm thinking about it. So in this situation, the interviewer is, they're looking and they're like, we noticed you're 46 years old and we don't see any job history listed on here. To which I'm going to respond with, I have always depended on the kindness of strangers, implying that I may have panhandled my way through my 20s, 30s, and 40s before applying for this job eventually.
That's good. It's funny that we were kind of on a similar wavelength because I didn't have that one, but I did
do
have
that one.
There was a quote on the list. I don't remember the full quote, but it said something about it had the word bum in it. I don't remember the full quote, but I was gonna try to work that in some way into like implying that I was a bum, like before, the same type of thing where like it was like I didn't have work history or something, and then it kind of imply that. So it's funny, we had a similar thought but with different quotes. But I have to say I liked yours a lot better than mine.
Yeah, I like yours.
Mine was gonna force the word bum to try to make it happen, but you did it much better.
I'm honestly not sure how that ended up on my reserves. Now that I think about it, it might have been my best one.
Yeah, no, that was a strong finish. I liked all the finishes. I think that last round might have been stronger than the first round, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention again, that is from the movie A Streetcar Named Desire, movie from like the 50s or something like that.
Sure.
Personally, never seen it, but and now my wife is acting like I should have seen that movie.
You didn't see that? Wasn't that one of the ones we read in like high school English or something, and then you didn't like watch the play on it or something? I think that was. I'm pretty sure. Too? Yeah. Oh, it's definitely a book. Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I've never seen nor heard of it. And when I read that quote in my big brain, I said A Streetcar Named Desiree.
So people listening, if we have any literary buffs listening, they can laugh at me, but I'm going to try to use my high school English here. And I want to say A Streetcar Named Desire was written by Tennessee Williams. That is sounding extremely familiar to me. So that's what I'm going to... Yeah, you Google it. Sure, because I think that's my high school English class kicking in right there. Maybe the 30 seconds I paid attention all year really stuck in the brain.
This is the moment.
Based on a play by Tennessee Williams.
Okay.
Ooh,
so there you go.
But it's very close.
Primarily, so I Googled it. The movie came up first. So what I'm assuming is the movie is... Okay. I think the movie is much more popular.
But there was a book. Wasn't there a book? Or was it just a play?
It's probably a book of just the play script, the play...
Maybe that's what it was. I know I did it in high school because clearly I remember the guy's name. Like, at some point it was in my high school career. All right, yeah. So that was a strong finish. I do want to quickly. We're not going to do all the scenarios, but I do want to quickly run over some of the backup lists because there's some fun ones on here. Also, if it matters to people, I realize I forgot my last quote. The "You Ain't Heard Nothing Yet." That was from the Jazz Singer. If people are wondering what movies these are from. I think that was in like the 60s, I want to say 50s, 60s. So I had the manager saying, our duties begin at 5 a.m. How do you get yourself up and at 'em that early in the morning, so to speak? And I would just say, I love the smell of napalm in the morning, implying some really, really terrible things.
I was gonna use that one for how would you deal with coworkers that annoy you?
That is a good one.
That also would have been very terrible.
That is a good one. I had, so why did you leave your last company? You want the truth? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. I feel like that kind of plays well there. I had a longer good one, like a full thing, but basically it would say like, hey, Mike, looks like you did really well at the police academy. Let's run through a situation. You're canvassing door to door for information on a robbery, and the tenant asks to see your badge. And then that's not the question. Like, they're not done. But right when they say that part, I cut them off. I say, badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Then I just go on like this rant about them, and he's just sitting there like, that, I wasn't done. That wasn't the question.
Are you all right, sir? Do you need a minute?
The last one that I had on my reserve list was, them asking me, so what kind of special skills do you have? And I just kind of lean in and I say, I see dead people.
That was one of my reserves.
I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't go. I really thought, that's why I had it on my reserve. I thought that was going to go earlier, honestly.
Yeah. Also in my reserves for tell me about yourself.
Yeah. That was
that's good.
In my reserves for basically skills and stuff like that. Another one of my reserves was questions revolving like, hey, our company has a policy about drug use, and we do drug testing. Would you be able to pass the drug test? And much my response would be, I've got the need for speed.
The need for speed.
Thought about doing that. And then the other one that wasn't said yet was a situation where, we're closing up the interview, and, I'm like, I'm feeling good about it, and I'm like, oh, when will I know back? And the interviewer is like, well, we're interviewing several other people for the position, and at this point, I'm standing up, and I just put my sunglasses on, and I say, I'll be back.
Yes, that's another one. I was wondering if people are gonna find a way to work that in.
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, I obviously saw that quote. I couldn't really make it work in my brain for like a good scenario. So I like what you did with that there. No, there was some good. This played out really well. I think this ended up being a topic that really worked. As far as the serious, but also the comedy, obviously. Definitely a good list. If people want to come up, like I said, if you want to kind of take a look and laugh at your own scenario, see what you would have done. It's the AFI top 100 years, 100 quotes. That was a good week. Some really good quotes.
Wait, I need.
Sorry, that's right. You gotta go ahead. Explain.
There is a quote that might be the most monumental movie quote of the last 60, 70 years. Like, obviously, there's some like classics, like the Gone with the Wind one. Sure, I'll say that I'll concede that I don't give a damn might be the most famous movie quote ever. But how is there not "I am your father" on this list?
Yeah, it's a good point. Now, it's a famous quote.
Interesting because "May the Force be with you" is on this list, but honestly, yeah, that's a popular movie quote from Star Wars.
I agree,
but it's said like dozens of times over all the movies, whereas "I am your father" is probably not only one of the greatest quotes, but also the single greatest movie reveal of all time.
Yeah, it's also, I would argue in that favor that it's also like one of the most repeated quotes. Sure. Whereas like "May the Force be with you," sure, people definitely say that, but like you said, that's just kind of, it's not necessarily like a singular quote, like it's just kind of part of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just kind of dialogue of the movie. I know that's what a quote is, but I think you get what I'm saying. "I am your father" definitely stands out more. I had one too. I was looking over the list and I was like, where is "But why male models"? Like, why is that not on the list?
Where was "Daddy, would you like some sausages"?
So
right.
I actually thought of Zoolander because I was watching a video before. There's a YouTube channel. I'll give a free promotion to our dozens of listeners that can drive up the traffic. There's a YouTube channel that does honest trailers. I actually forget the name. Yeah. So I don't remember the name of the channel because I only recently found it. But they do honest trailers. No, that's not the name of the channel.
No, I thought it was.
No, it's like Film something or other. It's like they have a bigger channel, and honest trailer is just one of the categories they do. And they were doing Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, which was hilarious. And they made the joke that the main character was akin to Zoolander, and then they cut to Zoolander explaining to the female protagonist in the movie that he can't turn left, and then they show that every time the driver in Tokyo Drift tries to turn left, he crashes in the movie, like every time.
That's good.
So that was a bit of editing genius. I do recommend to check out that channel. It's absolutely hilarious. Really, whether you like the movie or hate the movie or whatever, love the movie, like you'll get a kick out of it. It's fantastic. But yeah, so that wraps up our show for this week. Again, if you're enjoying this podcast, really simple thing to do, really easy. I can tell you exactly what to do if you're enjoying it, which is to give us a 5-star rating. Super helpful. Helps us get in front of more people, kind of boosts the podcast on the charts, stuff like that. So we'd really appreciate it. It takes 10-15 seconds to do that. Would really help us out. Again, if you think you have a good idea for a draft category, shoot me an email at ridiculouslyseriouspodcast@gmail.com. I will definitely read through them. And if it's a category that I like, if I think it makes sense, we'll do it on the show. So that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening, and we will be back next week.